rolling and action. Speak. So. Okay, so. Okay, let's go for this.
Tell me a little bit about you and the reason you chose LMA.
So I chose LMA because I really like how practical the course is. I really like to get my hands on to everything, so being able to do that here I think is the coolest part about this uni, which is why I came here.
I've always been, to some extent, I guess, scared of exams and stuff like that. I prefer much more practical work. I'd rather get into it and do it rather than have to learn about it and not actually put it into practice. So yeah, the fact that I actually get to work with industry people who've been there and done all this kind of stuff, I think it just makes it a lot better for me as an individual.
How are you finding your first few months at LMA?
They're really enjoyable. I've met quite a few new people, friends, and the tutors here are amazing. So yeah.
It's great so far. Learned a lot of things I didn't know before. A lot of practical stuff, like stuff about cameras, lighting, things that I've never really covered before in like previous courses. And it's a breath of fresh air to, have the freedom to kind of just do these kind of practical lessons all the time instead of just being stuck like doing practical work. I mean, theoretical work.
Are you enjoying the course so far?
I am. I'm having a lot of fun. Like I said, I really, really like practical stuff. So being on the cameras from day one, absolutely insane, and I love it. So, what is something that you find hard in filmmaking, and how have the tutors helped you deal with that?
So I guess my favorite part of filmmaking is definitely pre-production, which is also the most challenging part. It is a lot to do with planning, a lot of writing. There's also a lot of, I guess, obstacles you have to take into consideration just in case something might go wrong. Yeah, it's a really lengthy process, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
What do you think of the tutors? Have they been good?
Yeah. One of the main people that we're with is Mark, who has got a lot of experience in the industry, and he's a really down-to-earth person.
I think the teacher support is really, really great. Like, no matter how many times I ask a question and how much I may not get something, the teacher is always there, ready and preparing to like answer anything I have, so I understand exactly what I'm doing to help me in my course,
Yeah, I think the tutors are great. I think they're very helpful. They certainly know what they're doing. They've all got a very good amount of experience. I can imagine they've all been handpicked for courses like this, and yeah, they're all very nice, very approachable, easy to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like the fact that it is a very organized schedule, so you never really lose track of what you're doing and deadlines and everything else. Tutors are definitely great. The fact that you can relate to majority of them, because some of them are really close in age, whereas the other ones are very, very experienced in the industry that you currently study to be into. People like Mark, for example, who's not necessarily a teacher, but he's a very good industry person, so you get a lot more insight from his unconventional ways of doing a movie at times, which I think it's a really, really cool experience, because not everything is always by the book. You sometimes have to do unconventional ways and creative ways to get to the end result of the movie. How do you feel about the deadlines and the assignments that you have to do so far?
I think with the deadlines, I think we're given ample time, but it's more that it's hard to get everything done because we do get so much. But this is something I expected because, everything in university isn't necessarily harder. It's just a lot more things to do all at once kind of thing. So, yeah, it's tough, but you get through it.
How are you finding the handling the process of university?
It's a shock to be back on the workload again because I took a gap year and just had a regular job for a while. So it's strange to be back into an educational setting because I'm just not used to it. Like I'm kind of just a get things done person. So I definitely have better time management now than I used to have, which is much better. But yeah, it's getting used to it. Get back in the flow of things.
Do you find a lot of chances to be working with other students, like collaborating?
Yeah, so one of our courses is called Dance Through the Lens. It's where we take the year 2 dancers and we film them, and they have to learn a certain sequence.
So where did your interest in film and TV production? Where did that all start for you?
I think it started primarily in year 8 once I got into photography. So that was the first stage of media that I got into. And once I've seen what I can do with photography, I thought that moving images could be just as entertaining, if not better. So I started to get into film, and I found out that as much as I like doing camera work, I'm also pretty good at producing and I guess planning a movie. So yeah, around the age of 15-ish is when I would say I started to really get into film.
Yeah.
What's your favourite thing about your course so
My
far?
favourite thing about my course so far is probably just it's Mark. He's great. I think his experience in the industry is really insightful because you get a lot of people teaching film who don't actually work in the industry and have only ever just kind of done the courses, which is what you see a lot in A-level work and like universities like Westminster, places where they just have people who specialize only in theory, and then you just get a job in teaching other people film theory, which is not what I'm looking for.
Do you have anything to say for any new students considering joining LMA?
The work here is very practical. So if you're used to handling cameras rather than sitting on a computer and typing, it's a lot nicer.
What do you think is something to watch out for when you're either choosing universities or like starting universities? What is one thing to watch out for?
You definitely have to kind of take, I guess, a deeper look at your ability to learn theory or to put into perspective. I think that if you are someone who's mainly good at exams and written work rather than practical work, you should definitely be on the lookout for that. But you always have to keep in mind that all the theory you learn will at some point have to be applied anyways. So yeah, I think that's it. The question is, would you recommend LMA to students who are about to finish college or join?
I think if you'd like to go down the practical route, it's definitely a good idea. But I can't recommend it because I'm not a different person. I'm me, I chose this. So I think everyone should take into consideration what they're best at, what they are looking for in a university, and choose what will be best for them.
I heard you from Dover. Is that true?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer than London. The people are.
Amazing. So,
Yeah.
very good, yeah.
Thank you, Beth. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.